Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for Experimental Build 7 of Update 120 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start as always with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Terrible! Terrible! Terrible. Wow, and we miss one. Not wonderful! Anywho, what have we got going on for this week? Well, we are continuing to work on a bunch of user content tools, and I've got some exciting new ones for you folks this week, as well as the return of the Meatmas holiday contest, which you'll be able to use some of these tools for. So, let's take a look at them. Some of them involve our Spectator panel, which we have been upgrading and adding things to over the past couple weeks. We've got a new type of entity that I'm going to show you, as well as some adjustments to the way the Spectator component of this works. So, let's go ahead and set ourselves into, let's spawn ourselves a camera, which will, of course, fall to the ground elegantly. And I'm going to switch to spawned object. You should be seeing me here. As you can see, I'm wearing one of the heavy operator SOSIG costumes. And one of the changes that has been done here is it's now dramatically easier for you to capture screenshots. And I've also fixed it. You'll notice this is one of those avatars that actually has night vision goggles on, and in the past, when you set one of these and used HD Spectator, because this was a physical object, it would actually appear on screen. You'll notice now, if I switch to HD Spectator, we don't have NVGs blocking us, and that's basically because I have changed the draw layer that those various things do, but they still do actually cast shadows when in this mode. So let's go back to spawned object here. The other thing that has been added, which I'm spawning from the panel here, is we now have, actually I keep going back and forth. We now have what's called a studio light that can be spawned. We're in a super bright scene, so it's not super duper evident. I can move this around here, and they show up in our entity list. And when we select it, we can change a whole bunch of things about that light. I'm actually going to go ahead and add a little bit of camera smoothing. Oh, whoops, those buttons aren't changing. Definitely got to fix that. That's a bug. Wouldn't be a devlog without a bug. So we can change what type of light this is, point, linear, or spot. Actually, you know what? To show this off better, let's head on, arm swinger jump. Let's head on over to a darker scene. There we go. Arizona at night. Perfect. So let's grab our Spectator panel. We should still be in HD Spectator mode. That looks great. Spawn ourselves a light. There we go. This is going to be so much more obvious. So select our studio light. I'm going to go ahead and set its shadows to off. So we've got three different forms of light here. We have a point light, which is the most sort of obvious one. You'll notice, because I'm in HD Spectator mode, you can't see where the light's coming from. If I click back to default here, you'll see this actually on screen. This is basically set to hide this geometry when you are not, when you're viewing it through one of the HD cameras, just because you might want to, fudge the way an object looks. Like, come over here and just, like, get your light relative to, a gun or a SOSIG that you're showing off. So yeah, coming back over here, we've got a bunch of options. We can change the, I finally, it only took me like 8 years to make a button that functions like a slider, but we can change the RGB value of this light. Oh yeah, let's pull that down there. Anyone who's been following me for a long time knows I'm crazy about my blue lights. Oops, I accidentally knocked the power up there. We've got a power slider that goes from 0 up to 8. We have, we don't see this on the ground because the range is really small. If we raise that there we go. And this is very expensive. I don't even use these in-game in any other context, but you can turn shadows on a point light. Just be aware that to do so is 6 shadow passes to do it. If we turn that on, there we go. So we actually have some light for this. Let's Let's make this all a super ominous instead of blue. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So yeah, so you manipulate these. We can turn this into a spotlight, like so. And just point that around, manipulate its range. Right now I have the range clamped at 32. I may change that later. Obviously you'd want it to be longer for a spotlight, but for most of the other lights it doesn't really make sense. We can manipulate the angle of it, like so. So yeah, so you can, especially when you, here, let's make this look a little less, you know, horror movie-tastic here. Knock the power down. But if we then wanted to go into our toolbox, pull out the Sosig Quinn here, we can spawn ourselves a Sosig mannequin. Select the mannequin. It's already selected. Select an outfit for it. Military, operator, medium, NVGs, confirm. There we go. We can grab our Sosig mannequin. We can sort of turn him to the side like that. Put him in a cool action pose. Like so. Wonderful. Let's get him a cool looking gun to, we'll just load up this. Imagine our Sosig that we want to take pictures of was using an A10. If you're like, oh, how do we get him to hold it for the purposes of taking a picture? No, I do not want you. Put that away. Grab the locker. Switch that to lock. And then that should kinematically lock that. Beautiful. Put that in the air. As though he's holding it. Beautiful. Deselect all to get rid of that wire. Move that out of the way. And then let's go ahead and get a... I'm going to pick up a camera here. Set this to spawned object. So we can now set up our shot. We can make the... select our camera. Oh, it's not letting me change the FOV. That's annoying. Yeah, I must have a bug in my camera controls information. So yeah, so we'll just have to use the default FOV for this. Put that camera there. Ooh, that's another little bug. I've got to make it so these don't show up in the spectator cam view, because otherwise we actually get a shadow from the light, or from the camera, which we don't want. And then we can grab this spotlight like so. There we go. How's that look? It's not quite right. There we go. We set up a cool shot. Let's compose it a little bit better. This would be better if I could give it a tighter FOV. I'll have to fix that after the devlog. And then there is, if I switch back to here briefly, you can see that there's a capture screenshot button here. So we can just go back to spawn objects, hit capture screenshot, and it has dropped that screenshot into your My Games folder. You can come up here, make that super... Oh yeah, that's cool. Get the gun up there like that. Perfect. Capture screenshot. So there you have... Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. This was changing the FOV of my default camera, not the cam that we had selected. How annoying. So yeah, so there you have it. That is your new capture tools for taking cool shots of your creations, whether it's a Sosig or a gun, and these will be necessary for eventually when we get our workshop tools set up for them. But you'll be, I hope some of you will put it into practice in the contest, which I will discuss in a moment. So yeah. Anywho, let's jump out of VR and talk about the other stuff that is in this update. So some very important stuff about changes with your vault and vault file migration. And let's talk about the contents details now. Yo, out of VR. So yeah, so what else is going on in this update? So basically, we have been doing this migration of the vaults functionality in the game for a while now in preparation for the eventual like workshop tooling for sharing custom guns, custom SOSIG outfits, take and hold characters, and things like that. And in the process, there were some design changes, some intentional, some accidental, related to file naming and where files are being stored. And so a couple of you may have noticed that that like, oh, wait a minute, I had a scenario called Jimmy's Meat Shack in 3 different scenes. Now I only see one because we sort of like when doing that migration, we prevented file name collision. It used to be the case that every like saved scene configuration was in a subdirectory named after the scene. Now they're not. And so this is all to say none of your data should be gone. It should all be in a vault backup folder. I have details in the release notes on how to, if you've been playing an experimental and the migration did something you didn't want, how to fix that. It's very straightforward. But all of that should now be how it should function. We've cleaned up some other things just about the sort of vault workflow, how you can pull files out manually, how they appear, how they're named, etc. So that should all be improved. I did a couple other minor things. Like I think I told someone like 3 years ago that yes, I would add AR-15 carry handle sight capability to the USAS 12 and then just forgot to do that. But that's now finally been done. The Meatmas snow globe was updated and cleaned up because there was some broken lighting in there. And I finally updated the like history of Meatmas wall that is in there. Yeah. And then just like a whole bunch of stuff related, as I said, to underlying SOSIG Spectator panel content. So yeah, and functionality. So that is all in there. So 2 more things to do, obviously. First off, contest. It is the return of the H3VR Meatmas contest. This year we are doing it is called the H3VR Meatmas SOSIG style contest. Very simply, the submission format is it's image based. It's to submit a single image, and it's got to have 1 or more SOSIGs in it. That's really the only constraint on it. There's a bunch of categories that you can win in that I'll get to in a moment. But basically, we've created a whole bunch of these tools for being able to make and capture things out of the game. And of course, I would love you to use them for this, but it isn't required. If you're more of a 2D illustration person and want to do a SOSIG-centric image, you can absolutely submit it here. If you want to use the H3VR files and make something in Blender and render it out, you can do that. If you want to sculpt it out of actual meat, I guess you can do that as well. So yes, the way this is going to work is, so the categories you can win in, there are 5 categories. We're going to be running this contest on the Discord this year because it's just the easiest place for me to like manage submissions and just have an inbuilt way to like contact winners. I used to do it in the subreddit, and every year I would have at least one winner that I would try to like contact through Reddit, but because the chat is terrible and things, it would be difficult to get in contact with them. So doing it on the Discord this year. And so the 5 categories are meatiest entry, best holiday spirit. So for the entries that actually decide to be Meatmas themed, there is a category for you. Most stylish SOSIG selfie. So that's images with SOSIGs that are in the selfie format in some capacity. There's cameras built into the Spectator panel for doing just that. Most meme-tastic, kind of self-explanatory. Just remember to keep the memes respectful. Discord's choice for the 5th. For basically, there's going to be a special channel set aside called Contest Submissions, where you can drop those images. And I'll pin exactly like which emote to use if you'd like to vote for an entry for Discord's choice for it. So yeah. Can you submit multiple entries? Absolutely. I've always been fine with that. Encourage. Don't spam the contest, obviously. Like, put some effort into it. Don't just rush to, throw 5 things in there. Put some care into it. Yeah. So, and then what we'll be doing. Let me actually look at the calendar just to double check. So, Meatmas Day is on the 25th, and so in general I have in the past had submissions open all the way up to Meatmas Eve, but obviously like where that falls in our sort of schedule is different, because instead of doing a Friday devlog, it looks like this month I'll be doing a Thursday devlog for Meatmas Day. And so what that basically means is that just get your submissions in by the end of Meatmas Day on the 25th, and then I will review all of them. I will tally the the Discord's choice voting, and then announce the winners on January 2nd. On that devlog. So I look forward to seeing what you folks make, and of course also finding out all the little things that are still broken about the Spectator tools through the process. And this is, trust me, this isn't all just an excuse to get you all to bug test unfinished software for me. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you folks make for this. And I don't know why truth be told, I've been kind of run down and worn down. I was actually sick last year during Meatmas, and so I just didn't have the energy to do a contest, and I missed doing it, and so I wanted to bring it back this year. So yeah. All right, and now we've got one final thing. We've got something absolutely cursed for you today. I love cursed guns, and I also love cursed food. And I love putting cursed food on a hot dog, because that just makes it doubly cursed. And so I was in the grocery store the other day, and I saw something on the aisle that just gave me pause. And I was like, I have got to know what that is like on a hot dog. For some reason, I don't know what's going on, but it appears that the instant noodle industry has just completely jumped the shark. And so I saw this. This is Totino's, as in the pizza rolls, brand buffalo style chicken pizza ramen noodles. What? And now I've put some mac and cheeses on my hot dog as a topping before. There was a Cheetos jalapeno one that I did that was actually great. That was great eating, both individually and on a hot dog. And so this isn't unprecedented in the history of hot dog or not dog. But I gotta tell you, I haven't tried a bite of this yet, but I'm not encouraged, because when I was heating it up for this, I don't know what it's supposed to smell like, but it smelled like neither buffalo style anything, nor chicken, nor pizza. And so this is the closed one. Here it is on our hot dog. I gotta say, it doesn't look especially appealing, but then again, the jalapeno cheddar one didn't either. So here we go. Hot dog or not dog, Totino's buffalo style chicken ramen noodles as a topping. Let's see how this is. So the dominant notes are vinegar, stale paprika, and salt. What? Okay, I need a round two to even try to parse this. This is awful. Not because it's on a hot dog. It's just awful. Oh, you know what? One sec. Yeah, we're done with that. I am not swallowing another bite. This is actually impressive. They have managed. I don't understand what's on the ingredients for this that would make this. Yeah, hot sauce, aged cayenne, red peppers, vinegar, salt, garlic, cheddar cheese. It says there's cheddar cheese in this, and I don't taste it. This is breathtakingly bad. This is now officially our most not dog hot dog that we have ever done. I think the prior record had been held by putting Trader Joe's cookie butter on it, which just tasted like palm oil. And this has somehow managed to be even worse. So, I wouldn't feed this to a dog that I disliked. So yeah, sorry Totino's, but Totino's Buffalo style chicken pizza ramen noodles both do not belong on a hot dog, and they do not really belong anywhere except the garbage. So hey, that's why we do this science, because this could have been incredible. I've had some weird fusion food in the past, some evil food science that has really blown me away, and this ain't it. Anywho, thanks if you're still with me here on this devlog. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, I literally don't really feel good after those 2 bites. I feel so I've just ruined a perfectly good hot dog with this. I feel genuinely bad for wasting food. Anywho, put some thought into what you want to do for the contest. I'm going to be reminding you all each week on our way towards Meatmas Day that this is going on. You've got time. There's no reason to like rush it out and get something submitted. Every time we do this contest, there's a couple people who are like, I want to get 5 things in today. Take your time, think up some cool ideas, play with the new tools, and I look forward to seeing what you folks submit for the contest. Hope you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Keep reporting bugs relative to the new content tools and the other stuff we're changing in this incredibly long update cycle. And I'll see you all next week. Peace.